We're live. We're live. What is up, New York Giants Nation, Big Blue Nation? What is up to Big Blue in the Bronx? He says, yes, sir. The New York Giants are 5-1. They come back to defeat the Baltimore Ravens 24-20. That was the final score. I don't remember the score. What a comeback. Fourth quarter, down by 10. 10 minutes to go, whatever. I'm at a loss for words. We're losing our minds here. Donald, before we start going crazy again, do you have a drink we can toast?
Yes, 100%. Let's do it.
Let's toast. I know that's your and Alex's thing, but we have to do it. The Giants just did it. He's got whatever. That's a Schweppes. Ginger ale and a Schweppes. A big toast to you, my big blue brother.
Go, victory toast for Victory Sunday.
And we're going into Victory Monday once again. 5-1. I need to calm down. Everybody settle down.
Let's get this thing tweeted out.
Let's get this thing tweeted out. Let's do that. While I do that, Donald, go ahead and let your emotions fly.
Okay. What a comeback. I don't think I mean, we look dead. The defense looked toast late in the game. We weren't moving the ball very efficiently. I was like, oh no. I thought down 2 scores in the fourth quarter we were toast, but that was exactly what didn't happen. This team is so special. This team never quits. Never, ever say die with this team. And Wink Martindale is some fucking genie, man. He's doing some genie shit with his defense.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they were getting toasted, shredded all day. Mark Andrews, Kenyon Drake, they were doing everything they had to do to get down the field, but they weren't getting in the end zone enough, obviously, because they only got 20 points. And when the defense needed to make a stop, great resiliency, exactly. That is the best way to put it. When the defense needed to make something happen, they get the pick first of the year for the Giants in a crucial spot, and then when they need to get another stop to protect the lead, Kayvon Thibodeaux comes up and makes the play of the season for this defense, following what was already the play of the season for this defense, and wins the game as they just run out the clock. I couldn't believe it. It was 20-10. You texted me. I don't see us scoring 10 points. I didn't even answer because I was like, I agree with him, but I don't want to say it because I'm gonna keep that glimmer of hope. And they did it. They came back and won. I can't say enough about this team. They are doing things that they should not be doing with a ragtag group of players, and they're beating good teams now. They beat the Packers, who just lost again. So New York, stand up, because shove your fucking cheese up your ass. The entire state of New York just told Green Bay to do that, as the Giants and Jets beat them back-to-back weeks. However, it's about the Giants. We beat the Packers, we beat the Ravens, we beat the Titans, teams that nobody said we would be able to beat. And we're 5-1 after 6 games. It's not pretty. It's very ugly at times, but we are 5-1. I am ecstatic. This is the best I've felt as a fan in 6 years.
How about them Giants? What? Wink Martindale. I knew that Wink Martindale would have a system which would cause Baltimore problems because he's been involved in the whole Baltimore organization for a while now. So he'll know Lamar's strengths and weaknesses. He'll know how to attack the edges and how to stop Lamar from getting really moving there in his run game, and because he's so good in the run. He's just electric. But we did really well. For me, Jihad Ward, I thought really did a great job. He played his ass off, in my opinion. He stopped Lamar from doing damage, especially in the first half. I thought he had a great game. And then Julian Love with an unbelievable play. He actually played great all game. I thought Julian Love had a great game because one of the things that I was really liking about this game, they weren't really doing anything in terms of the receiving game apart from Andrews. Obviously, Andrews is on a different level. That's tight end. From the receiver point of view, I think we did really well with the receivers. I really like Duvernay, and he was a non-factor, like an absolute non-factor. Dory Jackson had him shut down. Julian Love had a great game, and then he made that huge interception, and that changed the game. When he made that interception, I was like, "Oh my fucking god, we're gonna fucking do this, aren't we?" I can't fucking believe we're gonna fucking do this shit, aren't we? Doing it again, baby.
It's crazy.
And then, even I tweeted out, I was like, I'm just so proud of this team, regardless of whatever happens in this last minute, whatever happens in this last drive from the Ravens. I'm still incredibly proud of this team for the fact that he came back from 20-10 down and took a lead going into the last minute. It was like, whatever happens for me is just gravy, and unbelievable. Basically, first play of the game, right? First play of the freaking of the fourth quarter of the last drive, just shut him down, and then Thibodeau with an amazing stop. So what a freaking job, man! What a great job. Did you see David giving Martindale a huge hug? Like, you are the fucking man.
These guys love each other. Yeah. Congratulations to Wink too, because this was kind of a revenge game, and it
was
for 3.5. Yeah, for 3.5 quarters, he was getting torched, and then he said, "You know what? Let's go out and win a ball game," and they did. Let's get to some comments here. I'll get to Alex's last because we're going to touch on those guys. Lucas says, "Congrats, guys! I'm smoking the cheesehead pack, and congratulations to you, Luca. The Jets 4-2. Who would have saw that coming? Who would have saw us being? Hey, look at us! Look at us! Who would have thought? Not me." Anyway, here's a little take on the meme. Goosh. So yeah, Goosh said, "Welcome to the stream, Goosh." He says, "Barkley with that shoulder, don't matter. He's getting it done." They rode him in the second half, and he ran like a madman. And Tony Clark saying Zach Wilson is going to celebrate by banging Rodgers' mom. Oh my God! So let's get to Alex's comment. He says both rookie skill players, Bellinger and Robinson, had TDs. Wan'Dale Robinson, I want to talk about him because he had a drop earlier in the game, but he looked pretty good his first game back, and I do believe I had him scoring our first touchdown. And I liked what he did. He came up a couple of really big third down plays on that touchdown drive that he had, finished with just 37 yards, but on 3 receptions, but they were 3 big catches. And I think he looked relatively good for a guy that's just coming back from injury. So I think we might have something there, but we still need to get Daniel Jones some help because our leading receiver being Bellinger with 38 yards on 5 receptions and a touchdown, you need more than that. But whatever they're doing in these second halves and these fourth quarters, it's all working. And Daniel Jones got sacked 4 times, didn't look pretty for
Well, yeah, your prediction was that Wan'Dale Robinson was going to be the X factor in this game.
Yeah. I think I had Kayvon getting a sack too, right? Did I say that?
You had, let's see, you had Saquon getting 124 all-purpose yards. You had 4 sacks. You had Daniel Jones having 1 passing touchdown. Marcus Johnson getting the touchdown. He almost did, but he dropped it. Slayton most receiving yards. How did you do with that?
Not very good at all. I thought I had Wan'Dale having a touchdown, but nonetheless, whatever they did to get the W.
I actually had the forced fumble from Tibbs.
Nice. Okay, so we both had – you had Tibbs making the play of the game, thankfully. I picked Landon Collins to get a pick, and he didn't even play.
You did. I had Adoree Jackson getting the pick. I didn't see Julian Love just balling out today. I had 190 yards from Daniel Jones, 1 touchdown, 2 turnovers. In fact, he did much better than that. I had Saquon getting 100 yards, 65 in the ground, 35 all-purpose, or 35 in the air, 100 all-purpose.
You finished with 95. You were very, very close.
Oof. So we had some pretty good predictions. What was Alex's prediction? Alex was 24-20 Ravens. Forced fumble from Jalen Smith. Saquon Barkley, 115 yards, 3 sacks in total.
Well, the Giants had 2 sacks on the afternoon. Dexter Lawrence with another one. He's already, I believe, at career high, and he's only.
I thought Jihad Ward would have been credited with a sack.
I thought so too, but I guess they did they say he gained a yard on that play? Because I thought that was a sack as well.
No,
on the
fell
first drive.
down. I mean, Ward was the closest to him and touched him. I thought for sure that was a sack. That was harsh on him. I think it should be 3 sacks, but
It should
yeah,
be.
they
They only gave us. Alex says, "Can I pop on along?" Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me send you the link out. I will get that to you in just a second, Alex. You're more than welcome to join us every single time here on Nerd and Out Sports. He also says Kayvon was crying out of excitement. I would hope so. He made the play.
I have to find that. I have to find this video. Post it.
Where is Alex here on Twitter? But yeah, it's I thought it was gonna end up being a loss, and I wasn't gonna be upset because they fought back. And I was like, okay, they're showing some heart. The link should be out to you now, Alex. And they ended up winning. I didn't see it coming. I predicted us to win, but I didn't think we would have a comeback win like that. And here we are, 5-1, Donald. We are a 5-win football team. And Goosh says, score prediction for Dallas, Philly. I think I picked Philly to win. I think it's going to be a good one, though. I think Philly's going to win 27-23.
Okay. This is our house. Get down, big girl.
We got another couple of comments here from Big Task at Hand. Welcome. He says, New York. Yeah. Oh, my God. He's Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Absolutely. And stop playing with this team. Look.
Big motherfucking Blue.
What else can you say about him besides amazing? I'm not even wearing a giant shirt right now. I got off of work and I was going crazy trying to get home because I see the comeback, and then I just threw the hat on and I was like, here we go.
He just texts me going, victory stream. I'm like, victory fucking stream. Not just victory stream. It has to be victory fucking stream. And here's my victory fucking colleague right here.
Alex. Welcome. Should we do a three? I don't want to call that a three-way, but a three-way toast.
Hold on.
We'll get to
I'm
happy, but not fucking happy. There we go.
The 3-person toast.
Yes.
Let's go, G-men. We did it.
Fucking wow are the 2 words that I'll open up with. I texted Donald because it was after that touchdown to Mark Andrews, but they should have delay a game, but it's not much of a big deal now. Donald's like, I don't know that we could score 2 scores. We'll be down 2 scores. I said, this game isn't over yet. This is the second week in a row I've told Donald. Hopefully he'll get the image, but anyway.
Potentially maybe I should going on here.
Yes. Wow, man. I mean, it's no lie that we were getting torched by Drake, by Andrews, by Lamar Jackson. And then, we obviously we're down 20-10. We go down the field with a pretty nice drive. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley was a part of it too. Daniel Jones has that little sidearm kind of maneuver pass to Bellinger. I mean, when was the last time we had some good tight ends like Bellinger? He had a couple of receptions. Wan'Dale Robinson was pretty good too. I know he did drop a pass earlier in the game. The hell is he doing behind me? Anyway, he deserves his credit too. His team won. Anyway,
airplanes won. Good for the airplanes.
Then yes, the airplanes won. But then because it was all a chain of events. I think the momentum just kind of shifted. Not after that, but it was 3rd and 1. And I thought that they were going to give them the first down, but they didn't. So it was 3rd and 1. They get it, but they say illegal formation, I think it was. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, all right. So I'm a little more sane now. So I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? Fumble the snap, and Lamar just throws it up. Julian Love, man, gets the first pick of the season. He needs to be back in blue. I know he's not an all-pro safety or whatever, but he's a role player for this team. And I know that Wink and this, really coaching staff love him. So then you get the touchdown. Then, what was it? 1 to 2 plays into it. I think it was, I want to say one or 2 plays into it. You got Tibbs coming from the side, smacking the ball out. I had no idea what happened. I don't know if it came from Leo. I don't know if it came from this guy. I didn't know if it came from Tibbs. He smacks the ball out. It looked like the Ravens recovered it. Then the ball keeps rolling, and Leo gets it. I'm like, yes, we fucking won. And then Saquon.
Tibbs is special. Tibbs is fucking special.
That's no doubt. And then Saquon goes down. Wow. People really need to start respecting us.
Yeah, wow is right. It was second down that they got the strip sack, so it was the second play of that drive. TD came in, said, "Let's effing go Giants," and welcome TD. Big task at hand says, "I'm getting kicked out of every Raven stream on YouTube." Well, keep
Keep it up, bro.
yeah, keep it up. Represent Big Blue Nation, but keep it kind of friendly. They did, it was a good game. Let's give them some credit here, but we took the W. And TD again. Tennessee, no problem. Carolina, no problem. Chicago, no problem. Green Bay, no problem. Baltimore, not a problem. Let's go Giants. 5-1. Holy cow! Holy cow was right. Holy shit. We are
Keep the comments coming, guys. We love it.
Absolutely.
What about this play, the Andy Reid audible, and Saquon with a monster block, and then Jones with a nice pass out in the flat? I love that. I love the Andy Reid audible. That was good. I mean, I was expecting the Andy Reid audible to be some sort of Patrick Mahomes special, but it wasn't. It was just a freaking really good run, a really good pass block from Saquon Barkley.
Kafka's drawing up some funky plays to make up for the lack of talent that we have, because once again, we don't know what Wan'Dale is. He's a second-round pick making his second career, not even start, but he's playing in his second career game. Darius Slayton's a fifth-round pick who has bricks for hands at times. We got two practice squad guys out there in Sills and Johnson. We got a fourth-round pick at tight end, but it's working when it needs to work. And one thing I've noticed, the Giants respond every time when someone scores on them. At least today, every time the Ravens put up points, most of the time the Giants responded immediately. When they made it 20-10 and there was still a little bit of time left, but there was time, they went right down the field and got a touchdown. I'm like, this isn't over. And they got the pick, and I'm like, this really isn't over. And then they scored. I'm like, well, this is a W. It was a crazy mix of emotions in the final 9 minutes or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. For the first three quarters, I was like, I don't see any hope we're winning this game. But I wasn't even that disappointed. I was more proud than anything because we were hanging tough with a really good team. And I think Baltimore a really good team despite their record. I don't think 3-3 does them justice. I think they're a very good offensive team for the most part. But what I loved was, once again, the bend but don't break. The defense really showed up and showed out in the first half to keep us in the game, because our offense did nothing in the first half. Saquon couldn't really get any traction. He was playing kind of hurt. Our offensive line was kind of struggling to open up holes for him. Daniel Jones, whenever he was out, when he was preparing to pass, he was under a lot of pressure, and obviously he had a fumble, and he didn't look particularly good. It was all like, I just don't see how we're going to score much in this game at all. But what was great about the defense was they kept the pressure in terms of Dobbins was a non-factor. I loved what we did in terms of stopping the receiving game, apart from Andrews, obviously, but their wide receivers were a non-factor as well. So that was all really good. But then Kenyon Drake got involved. Then Andrews got involved, and I was like, uh-oh. And Drake just ran fucking rings around us. And Lamar Jackson did a couple of special things. And we were really struggling to stop them. They were basically going right down the field, and we were kind of struggling to move the ball ourselves. And that's why I thought, I just don't see the momentum going our way, because, this is going to take a huge turnaround, just how we're playing, and especially in the second half, our defense looked exhausted because they've been out on the field a long time. And they were having to constantly cover Lamar Jackson and Drake and Andrews, running all over the freaking place. And they were holding tough. But the momentum change for sure was when they went up 20-10 and we were immediately respond with a touchdown. That was huge. The Lamar Jackson play, I was shocked because he played pretty much flawless until he made that strange decision where he after the fumbled snap, he decided to launch it in the air. That was a weird brain dead moment that I don't usually associate with a quarterback of Lamar's caliber. So that was a big break for us, because then we got the pick, and then the whole game changed right there. Once we got that pick, it was like, we're gonna fucking do this shit.
You texted me. What did you text me? You said a bunch of just random letters, and I just said, stay calm. And you said, are you calm? And I went, of course, with the emoji like, no, I wasn't calm. I was losing my mind like every Giants fan was.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Something that's actually happening. Saquon Barkley. touch on him. Once again, second half, he's turning into kind of like a Derrick Henry type, where like in the first half he feels it out a little bit, and then the second half he actually gets better and better and better, and more difficult to tackle and to bring down. And he was just electric in the second half, considering he was playing with a bad shoulder, and you could see in the sidelines he was kind of working it out or whatever. But damn, whenever he had that ball, he was fighting for his fucking life out there. Big touchdown. To see OBJ's tweet, like, get the ball to Saquon, let him be great, because he is fucking great. He really is. He is our offense with a little bit of Daniel Bellinger mixed in, but he is our offense, and we're 5-1. Fucking amazing.
And I also got some good news. My Andrew Thomas jersey is finally shipped, so I will be getting it relatively soon. I can't wait for that. I was hoping I'd get it, by today or tomorrow, so I can celebrate with style. But whenever I get it, I get it. However,
should I get a Saquon jersey? I really want to get a Saquon jersey.
I have a fun fact, everybody.
He's got a fun fact.
The Giants had only 10 players on the field on their first touchdown. They didn't have 11. They had 10.
Oh, interesting. We also had 10 players on the field when Baltimore scored. It's interesting. However it works, it works. I guess.
You don't need 11. 10's more than enough to score.
Oh, my God. So should you get a Saquon Barkley jersey? I was thinking of buying a Kayvon Thibodeau right after that game ended. But I don't know if I wanted to spend another $100-some-odd for a jersey right now. I just dropped $100 on the Thomas one.
Daniel Bellinger might be one to invest in.
Yeah, he looks special. He looks really
does.
special. I just have a terrible history with jerseys. The only jersey which is untouchable is Jeter and Eli. But those are the two GOATs of New York sports of all time. So we're going to be okay with them. But whenever I take a risk, like when I got a Stanton jersey, got hurt, and he's been hurt for like months. Then I got a DJ LeMahieu jersey last year and got hurt immediately, and he's basically been hurt for 2 years. So I don't have the greatest record. Then I got a Plax Burris jersey, and he shot himself 3 weeks later. So I don't have the greatest record with jerseys.
I was very like weary of getting one too, because I have a bad history as well as of late. I got Landon Collins' jersey, and then he left. And I was like, I got like 3 Odell jerseys because he was our best player. And when I got my third one, because I really wanted another away jersey because I don't have many, he got traded. So I was like, my luck is terrible, but I was like, I'm gonna get this Andrew Thomas. And then he got hurt today at the end of the first half. I was like, I've done it again. It's happened again. But he came back. So.
I was thinking that. I was like, oh, Rob's cursed this fucking thing.
I even tweeted it. I said, this is my fault. Should never have bought that jersey. TD says, love the fight in this team. Absolutely. And I truly believe this week and last week was the individual hardest part of our schedule, and we won both. I had us at 2-4 after 6 games. We're 5-1. What about you guys?
I said at the beginning before we versed the Packers, especially with the Daniel Jones injury, 2-2 would be much of a good look going into the bye. We're 2-0.
Yep. And who do we have next? Is that Jacksonville? I don't want to get
the Texans, right? Am I right?
Jacksonville, and then the Seahawks.
Seahawks, right?
Yeah, and then we go to the bye. So they're winnable. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but after this week, I mean, we have to be riding on a high that we haven't been riding for a very long time.
Jacksonville just lost on the road to the Colts.
Interesting.
They gave up 389 yards to Matt Ryan.
Matty Ryan. The original Matty Ice. Damn.
Well, let's look at some numbers here. The Giants were 7-14 on third down. The Ravens were 4 of 10, so not too bad. They outgained us every way possible. They had 406 total yards. We had 238. At
Oh
the end
my
of the game,
God!
they ran for 211 yards. We ran for 83. Lamar had 195 yards passing, or they had 195 yards. We had 155. That, of course, takes into account with the sacks. We ran 4 more plays in them, and we actually had 3 minutes more possession time. But they had 10 penalties to our 3. So that played a
That's a
big part
lot.
in the game, especially at the end. That illegal formation, whatever it was that preceded the pick, that was huge.
No, it's a weird winning silence. But yeah, I mean, it just shows how much one mistake can sway the game, right? Penalties, and then I mean, they had more turnovers. And did anyone get jump scared when Jones threw that pick, but you kind of knew was going to get a flag?
Yeah, I had
I knew it
flashbacks
was going to
to
be flagged. I thought, oh, fuck. Thank God it was flagged.
yeah, I had some flashbacks to the first 3 years of DJ's career where he's been throwing that pick left and right in big situations. Goose popping back in says Jacksonville, Seattle by Houston, Detroit, Dallas, Washington, Philly, Washington, Minnesota, Indy, Philly. I said it in the pregame because of the way that we're going to be at least 4-2 after the first 6. We got to start thinking this team could reach double digits in terms of wins because the schedule kind of favors that. Washington is very beatable twice.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can take Dallas if we're playing like this. I don't want to make any guarantees. Detroit's winnable. Jacksonville's winnable. A lot of winnable games out there. Indy's no, like, they're no pushover, but they're no, like, juggernaut either. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but you got to – I was asking Donald, so I'll ask you, Alex. Have your expectations have to have changed at this point now? Are you starting to at least a little bit start thinking about the playoffs right now?
I literally said it's my brother. I think I said yesterday or maybe even a few days before. I said, if we win this game, you know I'm going to be talking about the playoffs, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to fully get reeled into it. Maybe it's just me being a little scared of, the past few years. But definitely after the bye, if we come out of these games 3-1, which I feel like the Giants may lose one of these games, just because. But if we come out 3-1, 4-0 from these 4 games alone, we're going to be talking about playoffs, and it's going to be. Let's see, we got 3 weeks kind of ish till the bye, actually 2, but and then you'll take a look and. How many games has Dallas lost since then? How many games has the Eagles lost? I mean, if they don't lose tonight, the Eagles, I don't think they're going to lose for a little while because after their bye, which is next week, they take on the Steelers. And yes, the Steelers beat Brady today, but they're not really that good of a team.
So let's look at our schedule. So we're 5-1, right? Jacksonville, if we play the win-loss, win-loss. Jacksonville, I think we're going to lose. Hate to say it, but I think lost there. Seattle, I think we win. I think we have to beat Houston. I think we will beat Houston. Mm-hmm. Detroit, good team, but I think their defense sucks. So I think we can beat Detroit. Dallas, I'm going to take it as an L. Washington, I think is a W. Philly's an L. Washington, I think is a W. And that already puts us at 10 wins.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of the
that puts us at 10 wins, and we're not even at Minnesota, Indiana, and Philly. So maybe even take one of those 3. But even if we don't, 10-7, I think that puts us in the playoffs.
Yeah. So one thing we also have to look at as well, I mean, the Vikings are a general threat in the NFC, at least as of right now. Obviously, it won't help if we don't beat Philly or Dallas maybe once. But the thing is with that, I mean, we could be talking about 10 wins here. Same time, in the long term, how is that going to stack up in the wild card? Because we know one of these teams, whether it's Philly takes a division, Dallas takes a division, if we don't get at least one win against Philly, I mean, it's gonna be a little weary. But out of the rest of the schedule, I haven't gotten a gauge on Jacksonville yet, so I can't say whether we're going to win or lose. Seattle, I think we win. Houston, I think will win. Detroit, I think will win. I don't have us winning on Thanksgiving. Washington, win. Philly, win. I feel like we might lose to Washington, but I feel like we might sweep them, so that's another one I really can't gauge. I feel like we'll lose to Minnesota because that's a Saturday game, weird enough. They don't like us playing on Christmas for some reason. I have us beating Indy and then losing to Philly. So if I'm going to do my proper calculation, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. That's 11.
That almost guarantees you a playoff spot because you're looking at the playoff picture right now. Philly's the number 1, Minnesota's the number 2. They both get buys, right? I'm still kind of fuzzy on this new playoff scheme, but we're the number 1 seed or number 1 wild card. But if Dallas wins tonight, they would take that top spot. No, actually, Philly would take that top wild card spot. But if we're going by right now, we would visit Tampa, and Dallas would visit San Francisco. How does this work? Because there's 3 wild card teams now, right?
I believe 3 wild card teams.
I think that with 10 wins gets us in the wild card spot. If there's 3 wild card places, I think 10 wins does it. I really do.
Yeah.
Either way, we still have a long ways to go for the playoffs.
Yeah, let's get back to the game, but the conversation is going to be ongoing because week by week, each win that we gain, we're going to get closer to the promised land. And what a freaking achievement it is. So I'm very fucking proud. So let's get into some awards that we should give for our guys. Let's touch on Saquon Barkley. What did you guys think about Saquon today, first of all, before we get into awards?
They didn't use him nearly enough in the first half, and they started featuring him when they needed to, when the game was starting to slip away from them a little bit, and he started running like an absolute madman. Only finished with just under 4 yards per carry. Didn't reach 100 yards in total for the day. However, when they did feed him the ball, he was really, really good. And he could have had 2 touchdowns had he not just went down on the last drive, obviously. He could have had a couple of more yards added to his total. However, when we needed him to show up, we gave him the ball, he showed up. And he's been incredible. Every single time he has the football, you know there's a threat that he's going to do something. And he's the focal point. They used him when they needed to, and it was crunch time, and he delivered.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of pissed. I mean, I was weirded out, in the first half when they didn't really use him. Like, I would like to see what this running game is doing, right? So in the second half, when they started using him, if you want my honesty, I started getting pissed because I want to say it was on that drive that it was like 20, there was the 2017 drive where we had the Bellinger touchdown. I think that's when they really started poking him. And I'm like, dude, there's like this many minutes left. Why are we using him right now? But some of those runs that Saquon had, I think there were 7-yard runs. We wouldn't have gone down the field without them. They were a core part of our drive. I really wish, they maybe would have screened him out a little bit, but maybe it's the shoulder, maybe it's the game plan, whatever. I thought he did the best he could, obviously, given the circumstances. And, yeah.
I actually thought it was I thought in terms of running the ball when we were down like 2 scores, I think that was because Baltimore were basically preparing for Daniel Jones to air it out, thinking that we were going to go in panic mode. We didn't panic. We just kept to our game, and that's what I loved. I was like, that's why I was worried when we went down 2 scores. I was like, we're just going to ask Daniel Jones to air it out. I don't think we've got the receivers for it, and Baltimore will be preparing for it. Chuck Clark's looked pretty fucking good so far, and so I was thinking, uh-oh. But then they didn't get off their game plan. They went back to their original plan that's gotten them this far this year, and that was ride Saquon, and Saquon just fucking carried them. And then a couple of nice plays out in the flat to David Sells, and then mixed in a couple of plays to Bellinger, and bish bash bosh, we fucking score, and then it's a different game. But I think that I didn't really like our first half game plan. But once again, this coaching staff, the story of our coaching staff is second half adjustments, and they are just fucking masters at it. So when it was a 10-7 game at halftime, that was a win for us, man, because we were getting our fucking asses handed to us in the first half. And we were only down 3 and only gave up 10 points. That was a W, in my opinion. And I think the Giants coaching staff took that as a W, because then they went in at halftime and did what the coaching staff has been doing for the entire season so far, become fucking superhuman in the second half in terms of coaching, and then fucking win us a game. So Wink Martindale, man, is the fucking daddy. We need to sign him to a lifetime contract. I love that, man.
He seems like he wants to be here for a while, because everyone's starting to get. Remember when in 2020 and the defense was playing really well? Everyone's like, Patrick Graham's going to get head coaching offers. He's going to leave us, and he did. And Wink's going to get some offers if this defense continues to play this way. However, I think he wants to be here for at least another year, because he said he's got a vision and he wants to get this defense somewhere special, because he sees it as a project. So, and it's still an incomplete project, because you saw we were getting roasted for most of this game by a really good offense. We haven't been able to cover a tight end since 2008, but we were getting toasted by Andrews. Kenyon Drake's running all over. Lamar Jackson's running all over. So there's still obvious holes in this defense that can be clogged up with the right draft picks. We need linebackers. We need another corner, and we know what we need. But we're getting things done when we need to, and we're not breaking. They're bending, and they bent a lot today, and they almost broke. But when they needed to, they got right back into place, pick, strip sack, and you could not have asked for it at a better time, the most crucial point in the game. So credit to Wink, credit to these guys for buying into what he's coaching, because in the past, Baltimore goes right down the field and scores and puts the game away. Even after we put a touchdown on the board, the game is over, because they would have went right back down the field against a bend don't break defense, but they approached that second to last drive differently. Love gets the pick, and that last drive they just sent the house and said, try and stop it. And Kayvon said, you're not going to, and he freaking knocked the ball out, and Leo picks it up. Big play for Leo, by the way, his first game back. He wasn't great, obviously. He's still on the comeback trail, but for him to fall on it, it was just great. Great to see him back out there. And, man, Wink is special. This defense right now, you got to give them a lot of credit. A bad game for about 3.5 quarters, but it was not out of reach, and they made plays when they had to. So hats off to Wink, and we love him.
Let's get some awards, right? Rob, you do the honors for today.
All right. Who is our MVP for the day? Alex, I'll go to you first. Put you on the spot.
Oh, man. Can it be a coach?
It can be whoever you want it to be. It's a victory streak. Gives it to Wink. Okay, I like it. Donald?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that, because there wasn't like one outstanding individual. It was mostly a team effort, especially on defense. So, yeah, I'll probably give it to Wink Martindale, but I will give a shout-out to Julian Love. And pass rush, Jihad Ward and Thibodeau. For me, I think both of them played their fucking asses off. So, a team effort, I'll just give the defense the MVP.
I'm going to go Kafka. You want? Okay. What was that, Alex?
I think I could try to – give me 1 second.
As he's holding off there, I'm going to –
I thought he was looking up in the sky going, give me a second. God, who do you think was the MVP of the Giants game today?
Give me a sign. I'm going to go Kafka, but before I go, I'll get into Goosh's comment. He says, got help from Baltimore penalties, yep, including the unsportsmanlike and the late game PI. Compare that to the G-Men 3-25. Yeah, we brought up the stats earlier, but you're right. It's absolutely right. Penalties were huge, and Alex is back. So,
yes, I think I could try to. You know what I must say? It's an interesting celebration Jihad Ward has. Every time he makes a tackle for loss, he goes,
yeah, it's like a samurai hat. I don't know what he's doing there. I've noticed that. I like it, though. Kind of reminds me of when Rashad Jennings would score, and he would, open the door, and he just kind of like saunter through. I like that celebration.
I fucking love Jihad Ward. I'm a big Jihad Ward fan. He is balled out all year long for me.
He really is. So my pick for MVP was Kafka, because I think he called it wasn't pretty at first, but those last two, that last touchdown drive, and when we had to score, we had to respond. He was calling some really nice plays, some really nice drives, mixing things up. You mentioned earlier the audible that worked out in our favor, the really nice play. But I think when you're working with such a, we'll call it interesting group of talent around your quarterback, and he's fighting for his life at times, the interior offensive line did not do him any favors once again today. But they're making it work, and the play calling, it's got to mean something that these guys are getting things done. This is a group that should not be coming back from a 10-point deficit, and they're getting the job done. So I'm going to give my award to Kafka.
I also, in terms of the offensive line, I thought Neil had a decent day. I did not see him being mentioned at all, which is always a great sign. He held up very well. He made a couple of really good blocks. Also, Ben Bredesen moved over into the center spot once we went down to injury, and he played flawless at center. He really did. He made a couple of decent blocks and helped spring Saquon a couple of times. So I will give a shout out to Bredesen and Neil, especially because Thomas was out for a while, and Neil held up on his side, and Bredesen too. So I was quite happy with them.
Yeah, Neil played great. That's what Bobby Skinner was bringing up for most of the first half. He was mentioning that Neil was doing some vertical sets, which is something he was asking him to do, and he looked a lot better in this game. He hasn't looked terrible, and since that Dallas game, he's been getting steadily better, which is what we've asked for him. So I loved what Evan Neal did today.
Definitely agree. I mean, I literally was just about to bring up the vertical pass sets, and I wasn't necessarily. And this is once again flashbacks from these coaching staffs that we've had in the past few years. Bobby Johnson's answer about changing the pass sets and whatnot, because that, combined with the stuff I heard from Buffalo fans and, just everything flashbacks from Mark Colombo and all this other crap. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look good. But, shouts to Evan Neal. Nothing really came through from his side. I might rewatch the game again because, sometimes I have to listen to it on the radio, and that's not as fun. But that one sack that Jones took in the red zone, I want to say towards the end of the game, was thanks to Ezeudu. I'm just going to put that on the record because what happened was they pulled a stunt. Ezeudu didn't recognize it, and boom. But
I don't like Ezeudu. I don't think he's up for it. I don't think he's NFL ready right now. But everybody else played well on the offensive line, doing what they needed to do. Okay, so what about? X Factor. Who was your X Factor?
Man, see, obviously you can pick from a list there. You can say Julian Love because he came up when needed to. He had a really good game overall. Kayvon is the first guy that jumped to my mind.
Okay.
But I kind of want to keep the offense, but I know the defense is what made it happen at the end of the game. So I'm going to go Kayvon because that's twice now that he has exploded off the line on the last play for a strip sack. He didn't get the strip sack the week before, but it was his pressure that forced Rodgers up and allowed O'Shane to hit him. This week it was Thibodeau that got the sack, and he's making it happen at the most crucial points in the game. So it was Kayvon for me.
Yeah, real quickly, I'm just tweeting out because that person who recommended that the Giants go ahead and tank on ESPN earlier this week is in the locker room with Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon. I said, weren't you the one that wanted us to tank? So I think I'm going to go Kayvon here as well, not to copy off of Rob, but, it's been the last few weeks, and certain Giant fans, especially from Facebook, which is the worst, have been like, oh, he's a bust, this, that, and the other thing. I've been recognizing the pressures he's been putting on the defense, these last few weeks. Obviously, a couple against the Bears, one of them against the Packers, on that last play for the Hail Mary. You heard a couple of times Charles Davis talk about, well, Thibodeau was in there on the pressure once again, but I originally predicted his first sack being next week because of the way Lamar Jackson is with the speed and stuff. But Kayvon finally hit home, and it was a big clutch play. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Thibodeau because,
if we tank, ain't no Dable dance. Very, very perfectly said there, Goosh. You're not going to have a Dable dance if you start tanking. Why would you tank anyway?
Let's
Why
all do
would
the Dable dance.
So I'll do the Dable dance. Which one? That's the one. Oh yeah, that's it. The Dable dance.
Oh yeah.
Look any more Caucasian there.
Yeah, I know. X Factor. I was gonna give it to Julian Love, so I'm gonna give him the defensive MVP. I think Julian Love was the defensive MVP for me. He was great in coverage in the first half, and then he changed the game with the interception. But the X Factor, I have to give it to Saquon, because without Saquon, ain't no W. We rode Saquon in the second half, and Saquon brought us home. So he's got the touchdown, and then he could have scored another touchdown right there. Fantasy owners must be going nuts right now. But he did the smart play, and he took the kneel on the 1 yard line and guaranteed us a W. But everything he did, especially in the fourth quarter, was special. Big block in the Andy Reid audible, which I liked, because he's never been known for his pass blocking, but his pass blocking was spot on right there. Everything he did in the fourth quarter was why we won the game. So on offense, so yeah, he's the X factor, Saquon Barkley.
Jihad Ward on the Giants. This is the don't fold team.
The don't fold.
That's right. Never fucking quit. That should be our motto. Never fucking quit. And I need to get on board with that, because I was like, oh, we're toast today. I fucking won, man. So this team never fucking quits. And credit to Daniel Jones, man. I thought he was a C-, D+ in the first half, for much of the game. But when, as you guys have pointed out, Daniel Jones is another specimen when the pressure's on him. When the back's to the wall, he's a different quarterback. He doesn't handle situation prosperity too well. But when his back's to the wall and will look fucked, he comes out as a different quarterback and he's spot on. And he led a couple of great drives. So credit to Daniel Jones too. Alex is talking to somebody in the background.
I'll pick up on the Jones talk, because I don't know if you guys can hear me good, because I was getting some unstable.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. He wasn't perfect today, but he did complete 70% of his passes for $173. Only had the one turnover, which was the fumble at the end of the half. So, doesn't really matter. But no picks. And even though that one was picked in the end zone, but it was defensive pass interference, he played as clean as you can play when we needed him to. And once again, that's going to count. It's got to count as a comeback win. So what would that be? His fourth of the year. So 4 out of 5 comeback victories.
And they've all been multiple score comebacks too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's doing it.
Packers. Panthers?
I don't think
Ravens.
it was double digits for the Panthers, but it was.
Panthers, it wasn't. But we were definitely down. But then again, it's tough when you get into the nitty gritty of it, because Graham Gano won us that game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I think we took the lead with a touchdown. So I think it's 4 on the year. I think it's 4.
Which is wild.
You can't.
Best passer rating when he's down. I mean, I don't get it, but hey, listen, better to have that when, well, I don't want to say best passer rating when you're up is bad, but a low passer rating when you're down, I mean,
that's worse.
That's absolutely worse.
Once again, his stats don't jump out, because he's only got 5 touchdowns now in the year, and he hasn't even reached or I think he just hit 1,000 yards for the season after this afternoon. So he's not wowing you with the stats. He's not leading the league in anything. You're not like, wow, this guy's going to be a 40 touchdown quarterback and all this. He's not throwing for 4,000 yards. He's not going to reach 35, 40 touchdowns. But when we need him to come through, he's coming through.
I don't even reach 20.
He's not. But he's playing clean enough to where we're never out of the game because of him. And that was the case last year. That was the case in 2020. So whatever they're teaching him to do, and this is something that they've criticized, or Stephen A. Smith's dumbass criticized, is that he said, I forgot what he said word for word, but it was like they're having him do things so he doesn't get himself into trouble. It's like, isn't that what they're supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
isn't that what a good coach.
That's what a good coach does.
So why is that a criticism? It's like, oh, they're using play action and RPO so he doesn't make mistakes. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know what he's referring to. I think he's basically intimating that the Giants don't fully trust him, and they don't trust his propensity to turn the ball over and make bad decisions. So they've limited it down. And what they're really doing is, let's be honest with Daniel Jones, they're starting from scratch with him. They're basically just starting from the very, very scratch and working from there, right? So at the moment, it's a lot of RPOs, a lot of max protect, a lot of getting balls out in the flat, screens, whatever. And I think gradually, as he gets more comfortable in the system and he gets more comfortable in the offense and in games, that he's going to trust himself a little bit more in the offense, and then the coaching is going to trust him to air it out a little bit more. But right now, we're very much at the very, very start with Daniel Jones. I think that this is a new coaching staff. They're trying to get rid of all his bad habits, and it's not easy to do. And they're starting from scratch. So yeah, they don't trust him. It's very obvious, but he's doing what is required to win the game, and that is not turn the ball over and get the ball to Saquon Barkley as much as he fucking possibly can, and then make smart throws when we need, right? And I'm perfectly okay with that because we're moving the ball and we're winning the game because we're not turning the ball over, and that's what was losing us a ton of games last year. And in previous years, we'd be right in a ton of games, but then we'd blow it because it's terrible turnovers. Remember Kansas City game last year? We had that game won, but then Daniel Jones did something fucking stupid. And that's what we're not doing this year, what he's not doing this year. And I think a lot of it is a coaching staff. So I don't see how that is a negative thing. Yeah, if it would be a fucking problem if Dable was like, you know what, to hell with this year. I just want you to air it out like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, right? You're asking him to do something he can't do. You're always going to end up losing. So you start from scratch and go, right, what are you fucking good at? You're great at RPOs. Yeah, you know, you've got a good arm. So let's fucking work on that. Let's trust in what you're good at, and then we can work from there. And that's what they're doing. That's what a good coaching staff does. So it's a stupid criticism. Is he a game manager? Yes. But at least he's a game manager, and there's a lot of fucking good quarterbacks that aren't a game manager. So I'll take it. Obviously, if we get in the next year, we talk about next year, whether we actually want a higher ceiling at quarterback. But right now, to win games for the Giants, it's do the bare minimum well, and he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect him to start throwing for 300 yards a game and getting 3-4 touchdowns when he hasn't even been that guy before, and he's in a new system yet again, and he's throwing to the guys that he's throwing to. We're using a practice squad out there as his weapons. A second-round pick is basically becoming his number one receiver right now because his number one receiver is constantly hurt, and his other big money target is also constantly hurt. And his most safe target is out for the rest of the season. So we're down to the wire. We're down to the bottom of the barrel in terms of weapons for the guy. They're picking guys up off the scrap heap. And David Sills should not be on an active roster, but he's playing every single day. Marcus Johnson's playing back-to-back weeks because we have no other options. But so to think that we're going to start seeing this offense put up 35, 40 points a game, and Jones is going to start throwing for all these crazy numbers like Mahomes, it's an impossible thing to ask for what's surrounding him. The interior line is a problem. The playmakers are a problem outside of Saquon, and hopefully Wan'Dale can emerge as a playmaker in some sort as the weeks go on. But you can't expect this offense to just constantly points when you're running with a ragtag group, yet we're scoring enough with the guys that we have. So a lot of that has to go on the coaching, but you have to give Daniel Jones a lot of credit as well because he's doing a lot of things right for us to win these games. He's not doing things wrong for us to lose. He's not losing us games. He didn't lose us the Dallas game. That was not on him. He took a beating on that game, and he kept us in it. Every other game, he has done something to help us win. And Tennessee was the only one where he could have lost that game for us. But he bounced back when he got a second chance, and he helped us win that game. So
he's getting better week on week. I thought he was pretty terrible the first 2 weeks of the year. Even though we were winning the games, I was like, he ain't looking good. But he's been very good since then, in my opinion. I think completely agree with you against Dallas. No, not even a shred of blame. I thought you balled out in many ways. And I think he's been a lot better week on week. And I'm starting to trust him a little more, which is a big step because I'll tell you what, man, for his entire career to this point, every drive I'll be like, what's he going to do to fuck it up? But this time I'm like, I think we're going to fucking score. And so this says a lot about how the coaching staff is working on him and getting rid of his bad habits. Focus on his strengths. You focus on his strengths and you might be able to find an NFL quarterback in there.
yeah, Alex, what do you think there?
Yeah, I mean, overall, just on Daniel Jones and this coaching staff, I like what they've been doing with him. You know, I do get the point about limiting him, but at times they've let him take risks. Like I love the play action. Like I don't think I've seen this much play action out of an offense with Daniel Jones ever. Maybe not even with Pat Shurmur. I mean, I know they also let him take a chance in the end zone with Slayton, not the pass interference one, but it was knocked away when Slayton was trying to one-hand it. But overall, man, I mean, this is just got to keep doing this. You got to keep doing the play action. Once again, I've mentioned how many times how I love what they're doing. You know, at times they get cute, the offense overall in the game plan in the red zone, which is something I don't like. Kind of the first drive, or at least one of the drives, they should have ran it in, but they didn't. But you know what? Listen, if he could keep playing this type of ball and, you know, step up when he has to, I have no issues with him, at least for right now.
Yeah, look, you just can't be asking anything more than what he's been doing. It's very game manager like, but at the same time, it's also game winning. He's winning games now, and that's more than we could have asked for him, or more than we could have expected. Because I don't think anyone thought he was gonna do what he's doing. Because you, like Donald mentioned, you go back to previous games in the last few years, he was doing things to lose us games, even if we were still in it. And you're like, what's he gonna do now? You kind of watch, like you keep your hands over your eyes, like, oh, don't do it. And then he does it. This time around, he's just making the right reads. Eli Manning picked up on it. He's a lot smarter with the football this year.
Mm-hmm.
Eli can see it. I trust Eli more than I trust, some goofball like Stephen A, who doesn't really pay attention to the sport very much.
Doesn't even watch fucking football.
Right. He's a basketball.
Basketball guy.
Oh, there's a comment here from Goosh that I missed about 6 minutes ago. He says, can't win in the playoffs without a second half quarterback and a defense. We got both. I mean, if we get there, who knows what happens, but he's got a point. Look at our 2 Super Bowl runs with Eli. Eli was a late game quarterback, and the defense rose up to the challenge a lot of the times during those playoff runs. So got a big point there. I'm not saying we're going to go win a Super Bowl, but, it helps to have it.
Today was kind of like a playoff game. I mean, also, shout-outs to, once again, at least I heard it a lot in the second half, the fans for keeping it real. I mean, the stadium, we've never had this type of home field advantage before, other than the fact that our turf is trash, but we've never had this type of home field advantage in years.
It's really good. They've been showing out, man. They have been showing out. It's been great to see. Because for years now, the stadium's like the 2/3 empty, or it's full of the opposition fans or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, they're showing out this year, and it just shows, man. It just shows what a modern coaching staff, a modern offense, and putting the ball in the hands of your best players does for you. And a bit of heart does for you. It does for the city. This city rewards hard work. They adore a blue collar type team that fights and scraps and gets its just rewards. And that's been the Giants' way, and that's how the Giants always, the history of the Giants is always based on defense and being a blue collar, tough football team, and we're finally seeing it this year, just hard and playing big blue football, which is tough plays on the ground and sacking the fuck out of a quarterback and just playing with heart, and that's what they're doing this year, and the fans are showing up for it.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I think that right there is a perfect way to close this out, because what you just said is exactly how we all feel. But to everyone that was in the chat, TD Goosh, thank you for popping in. Big task at hand. Luca was in here for a little bit. I know he's somewhere in the house with Alex right now. Tony Clark popped in, and of course, thank you to Alex. I just almost knocked my hat off. Thank you to Alex for popping in, and make sure to check out Big Blue in the Bronx, the boys in the Big Apple tomorrow night. They will be going live once again. I'm sure it's coming. It's always every Monday night, right?
Yes,
got that right.
We'll be
Victory.
streaming tonight's rather stressful Yankee game.
Oh boy, good luck. We're going to be watching that with probably no fingernails left. I don't have anything left after these last two games that I've watched. The Giants and Yankees have effectively killed my hands. However, that is going to wrap it up for us here at Nerd and Out Sports. Victory Sunday will turn to Victory Monday. We're going to keep celebrating. Donald's got the helmet up. Let's go, G-Men. Be sure to do all the good stuff. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Get your mini helmet. He's got the helmet on.
He's like, I'll see your helmet and I'll raise you to a fucking full-fledged helmet.
There it is.
Helmets.
Goose just let us know that ICAF is not playing. Oswaldo is at short.
The Hicks is playing though.
Fuck you,
Yeah. But Aaron Hicks is playing.
Fucking ball sack.
So that is going to do it for us here.
Let's go Big Blue, baby.
Let's go Big Blue.
All that matters to me, giant W. That's all I
Giant
care about.
W. Let's go. Peace out.